There is a major issue confronting the Richmond Fire Department right now. It's a staffing shortage. It's so severe that some call it the worst in the city's history.
NBC 12 uncovered data showing the department spent hundreds of thousands of dollars more in overtime this year than in previous years. On your side, investigator Kelly Avellino sat down with the chief to get answers.
For the first time ever, the Richmond Fire Department just started enforcing mandatory overtime for crews in the field. Sources tell me the fire department hasn't hired enough new recruits. The fire chief says, though, that the pandemic and social unrest have caused a delay in hiring and a spike in overtime payments.
Richmond Fire is dealing with about 24 recurring vacancies every day, according to Chief Melvin Carter. And many of those spots need to be backfilled by crew members working overtime and getting paid time and a half.
This year will set records, I can almost guarantee it.
Keith Andes, president of the Richmond Firefighters Association, tells me firefighters are feeling the burnout.
Now we're having people working 72 hours straight. What does that leave you with child care? And if their parents or other loved ones can't help them out, that puts them in a bind.
So far in fiscal year 2021, Richmond Fire is on track to paying over $365,000 more in overtime compared to 2020. It's also more than in 2019. Richmond Fire Chief Melvin Carter says civil unrest, retirements, and call-outs because of COVID have added to the climbing number of vacant positions.
We knew that we would have these vacancies coming into 2020. What we didn't know was a pandemic would land on us. And so when our members went out on COVID leave, we had to backfill for those members. In some cases, it was 1, 2, 3, 5, 10.
Carter also says a new recruit class couldn't be trained during the pandemic. Stations throughout Richmond at times running with 3 firefighters on a truck instead of 4, which some argue is a safety issue.
Occasionally that happens, but we implemented the mandatory overtime on Saturday. It hasn't happened.
Not long after NBC 12's inquiry, Richmond Fire responded that a new recruit class was still pending approval. A previous attempt for a class in January was denied by the city, according to the chief. But 3 days before our interview, Chief Carter says Richmond Fire posted an ad for a new recruit class.
Anyone that wants to be a Richmond firefighter, we are hiring.
The chief says another class for firefighters transferring from other jurisdictions is in the works as well. But none of those trainees will be able to hit the ground for at least 8 to 14 months. So the overtime will likely continue to mount. Firefighter advocates also say that low wages compared to the counties aren't helping Richmond retain experienced members.
When you have other localities paying top dollar, why not go and do, where you can have the best opportunities? And I don't know if those opportunities are still here in Richmond.
For example, Henrico Fire just upped its starting pay to over $51,000. Richmond's starting salary is $43,000, part of an incremental pay plan that firefighters argue has been frozen half the time since it's been implemented.
Please hire more firefighters and fix the pay plan so we can avoid the short-staffed fire companies to all the council districts. I am prepared to submit my letter of resignation before jeopardizing losing custody of my children due to an inconsistent child care arrangement caused by this mandatory overtime policy.
Last month, City Council and the mayor shot down a public safety pay increase supported by both fire and police advocates that would have sped up a 25-year plan to 20 years, getting firefighters their top pay much sooner. The city ultimately approved a less expensive 2-step pay raise instead.
Are Richmond firefighters getting paid enough money?
I believe Richmond firefighters deserve to get a higher pay. As I've told my members, I support their pay plan, but it needs to be verified and vetted.
Richmond police have also voiced concerns over unfair wages and staffing departures. We found that RPD has had a 47% increase of officers leaving in 2020 compared to the year before. On your side, I'm Kelly Avellino for NBC 12.